4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news is happening in Southgate right now, where within the past 20 minutes, we've confirmed a police officer has been shot at the Village on the Park Apartments. Now, we are live on the scene right now. It's a complex on North Line Road, east of I-75. Right now, we don't have word on their condition or how the specifics of what happened in that case. But Lauren Kostick is on the way, and we'll head back out live to Southgate for an update on what's happening as soon as she arrives.
Now, to our other top story tonight.
It's the sound after the storm. Cleanup underway tonight after a confirmed tornado rips through Macomb County, and there's plenty of work to be done right now.
And they don't have a lot of time to get the job done. Live pictures from our Mount Clemens Skycam. We are 24 hours away from extreme heat settling in.
You know, the strong storms also brought heavy rain. Macomb Township got 4.5 inches of rain yesterday.
Sterling Heights, take a look, got 3.39 inches. New Baltimore, 3.1. Macomb County really got the brunt of the storm.
Yeah, they did. Now, then there's the tornado that touched down in Fraser, leaving a lot of damage in the wake. So let's get out to our Jay Scott Smith. He spent the day in Fraser as folks cleaned up.
Yes, good evening, everybody. And as you can see over my shoulder here, this is just some of the damage that tornado, the 29th to hit the state of Michigan, left behind yesterday. That tree was taken down by the storm. And if you notice off in the distance, those are utility workers getting the wires and the poles back together after it was knocked down. And that tornado went through this neighborhood and left a really huge mess.
I was at work and my neighbor called me and he told me I got to get home right now.
Wednesday was not a good day for Dave Rose.
Half of my roof was in the middle of the street, and at that point I knew it was serious.
His home on the 33,000 block of Regal Street was hit by the tornado that spun up on Wednesday afternoon.
I see the puddle right there.
And led a path of destruction through this neighborhood.
Ceiling is actually really bowed and wet, and it's starting to crack.
And in a cruel twist, plowed right through Dave's house while leaving nearly every surrounding house largely unscathed.
They're trying to get everything out of there right now before it caves in.
And I guess they lost a pole over here. That's why I don't have any power.
Darren Nowicki lives a couple of blocks down.
Yeah, like I talked to this guy last night. They had power, but he was out.
The storm left dozens of trees shredded, power lines down, tore shingles off roofs, and even tossed trampolines around.
So you couldn't even go down this street.
And it made things treacherous as he tried to get home.
They got that cleaned up yesterday so you could go down the street, because I couldn't even walk. You couldn't drive down any of these streets. I had come in over here and I had to drive all the way around to get to my house.
While Nowicki's home was spared major damage, Dave Rose spent today on the phone with insurance companies, but was still thankful for one thing.
There's nothing good to come out of it. The only thing that I'm lucky on is no one was home, my boys weren't here, and no one in the neighborhood got hurt.
And when you see things like that, including this tree that's down in this backyard, you realize there were no deaths, no major injuries, just a whole lot of damage to homes. Now, Macomb County Emergency Management says it's too soon to get an assessment on the financial cost of the damage of the storm, plus the flooding that happened throughout the county. And we're still waiting on the National Weather Service to let us know just how severe that tornado was. We're live in Fraser. I'm Jay Scott Smith for Local 4.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Jay.
And that storm rolled through last night. Many of you were sending us photos on MyPics. All right, so check out this photo of the storm approaching downtown Detroit, taken from Windsor. This was shot by Marty9064. You can see how powerful it was over there. Then there's the damage. This photo was taken by user DJJB. A huge tree on the ground taking out power lines in Royal Oak. This is at the intersection of Brockton and Kenwood Avenue. All right, so to sign up for MyPics, just snap the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you right to the special page, taking you step by step. MyPics is totally free to join, and you might end up seeing your photos right here on Local 4. All right, so we want to bring in 4-1 meteorologist Kim Adams to get a look at what came through last night.
It is interesting when you take a look at those MyPics and you kind of piece it all together. You know, it tells a story.
And the National Weather Service confirmed that tornado very quickly. Sometimes it's the next day before they even confirm it was a tornado. They did that yesterday, and it's homeowners like Dave that give them all those clues. The fact that it just hit, unfortunately for him, his house, but not the surrounding houses, gives them a good idea of what happened there. So they did confirm it, and now they have also decided this is an EF0. That's the lowest on the Fujita scale, which I'll show you in a moment. But I want to take you back to Macomb County yesterday afternoon, just after 1 o'clock. A tornado did form in Fraser, right around Utica Road. Here's Masonic. For those of you that live in the area, this will look familiar to you. Here's Groesbeck over here, Masonic, Utica, and here's 14 Mile right there. So that's where it formed, around Kelly Road. It continued on just to about 15 Mile, and then it went as far as Metro Parkway, which is 16 Mile Road, before it finally lifted up. 70-mile-per-hour winds. It was on a 2.4-mile path, and it was on the ground for 8 minutes, but 8 minutes was long enough to do quite a bit of damage. Now, we talk about that EF0. What that means is the lowest on the scale, which is 65 to 85-mile-per-hour winds, and the scale goes all the way up to an EF5, which is winds over 200. But even though it's an EF0, the lowest on the scale, as you saw, it did do quite a bit of damage. And then added on top of that tornado, we had a lot of rain, as you saw at the top of the show. 3, 4, even close to 5 inches. Now we're talking about extreme heat, with highs running in the upper 90s with heat indices over 100. We'll talk about that in a moment.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit, Kim. We'll take a look right now at pictures from the White House tonight. That's where President Trump says he's going to make a decision on attacking Iran within the next 2 weeks. Meantime, Israel is promising retribution after a hospital was struck by an Iranian missile. Julie Sirkin is in Washington for us tonight.
Overnight, a hospital in the southern part of Israel was directly hit by an Iranian missile. In response, Israel said it would, quote, increase the intensity of attacks. In Washington, President Trump today once again meeting with his national security team as he weighs a possible military response to Iran. His White House press secretary delivering this message.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president.
A decision to go could provoke an attack on U.S. bases and interests in the region, and it could shut down the critical Strait of Hormuz, the only sea passage for major and oil gas producing countries in the Persian Gulf, causing an interruption in the global energy supply. All of this could convince the president to keep the door open to diplomacy.
Iran can and should make a deal.
But he has also been firm that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And just how far along the country is in developing one appears to be in question. The president and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu say the Iranians are close.
And I think they were a few weeks away from having one.
But the U.S. intelligence community, led by the president's own Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, have said that is not the case. But her views on Iran have long been seen as controversial. Gabbard has also been sidelined in internal discussions about the Israel-Iran conflict, according to multiple officials, causing divisions within Trump's White House as he decides whether the U.S. will get directly involved in another foreign war. Remember, the president ran on being a peacemaker. He also pledged to end overseas wars. So his latest posturing has even his staunchest MAGA supporters at odds with one another. Meanwhile, the Senate is expecting to get its first classified briefing on the situation early next week. In Washington, Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
Also today, President Trump signed an executive order to keep TikTok running in the U.S. This order gives TikTok's owner, ByteDance, another 90 days to find an American owner. Now, this is the third time the president has extended the deadline, and it comes after the latest deal to sell the platform fell apart.
It's time to trade up all day long. We have been working to help people find rewarding new careers at the Michigan Skilled Careers Job Fair. It's all part of our commitment here at Local 4 to bring awareness to the good-paying jobs available in the skilled trades. Let's get out to Kimberly Gill. She is live at the Radisson in Southfield. And Kim, it has been really busy out there. I was there earlier this afternoon, and they told me they had some 3,700 people at that point go through the door.
That's right, Karen. It has been a great day here at the Radisson Hotel in Southfield. As you said, thousands of people have filed through the doors here looking for their next career, their next chapter in their life. And it's really been great. As we approach the end of the business day here, though, things are thinning out. But one of the longest lines, and the line that still remains here, is that for Stellantis. So people have been able to come here and connect directly with employers and recruiters. And this long line that remains is people still trying to get and talk to someone directly at Stellantis. So that gives you an idea of the top tier employers that we've seen here so far. You're right, Karen, a lot of people coming through here. It's been a great day. We're going to be here till 6 o'clock. A lot of folks have left, but they are still accepting folks. If you do decide to come down, they do ask that you dress professionally, and they're also asking that you bring copies of your resume. That's the other thing. You actually need the paper copies to get in the door. We're here till 6 o'clock. As you said, this is all part of our Trade Up initiative, and we here at Local 4 are proud to partner with these organizations to help bring meaningful careers to people in our community. Reporting live in Southfield tonight, Kimberly Gill, Local 4.
Love the energy of that place. Everyone was so excited looking, and everyone was so welcoming, I thought, to everyone who was looking for those jobs. I mean, that energy in the place is great, right, Kim?
It still is, Karen. There are people here that are still filling out applications. Everything that you can imagine. It's not just skilled trades. There were people here from the healthcare profession. There were people here from every manufacturing position that you could think of. There were plumbers. It's just been really a great day, and we at Local 4 are just happy to support it and be a part of it.
So cool. All right, we'll check back with you a little later. Thanks, Kim. All right, now to another story that we're covering, Juneteenth, and that is all of the different things that are going on in Metro Detroit this afternoon. We've got a whole lot to get here at 5, of course, and we'll be talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, check out this event right here over on the west side of Detroit. An event and parade celebrating freedom and unity was held at Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church on Grand Boulevard. There was music, food, and even fun for things to do for the children. The grand marshals of the parade this year, Detroit City Council President Mary Sheffield and Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist.